I'm Danny Fingeroth. I was the editor of the Spider-Man line, and I'm writing a biography of Stan Lee, and you are listening to 11 O'Clock Comics.
Delicious.
I tried.
Yes. It's like shrimp, not pancakes. Shrimp. Nobody likes those pancakes.
Jesse Plemons might.
Maybe. It's all about love anyway.
Don't be so, looks like he's put on some pancakes.
Don't be so superficial. Jeez.
I would never.
You just don't like him because he's married to Dunst.
It sounds like something you find under the couch when you're cleaning. Man, there's a bunch of dunst. Damn it, I ruined it. Under the couch.
We'll edit it out. Nobody will know.
Nah, well, I'm the one who edits. I'll leave it in. Hey, everybody. How are you? It's 11 O'Clock Comics, episode 957. And I'm Vince B.
Whoo, you are Vince B. 957. Damn, I am David A. Price.
That is very true. And Jason is on assignment on the other side of the country where it's warm. And he's having fun with people that we would like to be having fun with. But instead, we're here with you. But we love you. And we have a very special guest. You should be familiar.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, there you go. You should be familiar with this bloke. He's been here many, many times before. I think you're in the running for one of the most appeared guests on the show. You may even have more than Tony, but we'll see. It's Mario. Mario's here with us
Hi, guys.
To help us over
Hello, everyone.
The gaping hole that Jason left us with. But what else is new, right? And also, what else is new? Savings. Multiple massive amounts of savings at this. Oh, Jesus! At cheap.
How much have you had?
A lot. At cheapgraphicnovels.com. Cheapgraphicnovels.com has everything you want with a spine, be it an OGN, a trade paperback, an omnibus edition, an artist edition, a manga. Oh my goodness. All that stuff massively discounted. And there's a little life hack to cheapgraphicnovels.com for first-time customers. What you're going to do is you're going to order something. Hold your horses, lads and ladies. Don't order a lot. Order a little bit, because you're going to get an email confirmation from Max saying, hey, thank you for ordering from cheapgraphicnovels.com. You're going to reply to that email confirmation saying, I would not have known about this place if not for 11 O'Clock Comics. You can word it differently, whatever you want. Just make sure you mention 11 O'Clock Comics in the reply, and Max will gift you free shipping on your next order. That is when you order massive amounts of book, such as...
Load up.
Yes. Such as...
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
In addition to the nifty notables that was posted on the Slack the other day, other items of note from this week's new release pile. I'm excited about this one. I might actually have to get this sooner rather than later. DC Finest Justice League of America, The Bridge Between Earths trade paperback. 40% off, comes at $23.99. It collects Justice League of America numbers 45 through 72, which are cover dated from July 1966 to June 1969. These are all the Justice League of America, Justice Society of America crossover stories.
Now, is that Dick Dillon?
Yeah, a lot of that's going to be Dick Dillon.
Okay.
And probably Scioli also.
Can't go wrong with Mike Scioli.
No, you cannot. Loved him in Monsters, Inc. And then we have Scalped. We have the... I'll probably... One of these days, this will end up... You all right?
Yeah,
you
okay? got me. You got me with that one. Sugar booger.
Anyway.
Yes.
So the series that I still haven't read, but this omnibus collects almost the first half of the series. This is the new edition of the Scalped Omnibus Volume 1, collects issues 1 through 29 of that Vertigo series by Aaron and Guara. 40% off, comes in at $44.99. For those of you who've had questions regarding Superman, since a bunch of folks decided to finally hop on that series with the most recent issue, you get the first trade paperback, Superman Volume 1 Supercorp. 30% off, $11.89, collects the first 5 issues of the Joshua Williamson written series. Most of those issues, if not all of them, are by Jamal Campbell. And the big one, the one I'm looking forward to, because I have the first 3 volumes sitting here right next to me, is Popeye, the E.C. Seeger Sundays, Volume 4, Sweepy, and Eugene the Jeep. 25% off, $18.74 is what you'll pay. This is the 4th and final volume of the Fantagraphics collection of the E.C. Seeger Popeye Sundays, where you will meet, of course, Eugene the Jeep, the dynamic, curious creature from the 4th dimension. And yeah, so it's, and what was neat about this collection, the packaging for this series was the die-cut vertical slipcase, which keeps most of the book protected, because some of it does stick out, but that's only because of the way it's designed. It's a pretty nifty package.
I think it's a cool design.
The real tall ones, is it?
I do too.
Mario, this stuff.
The real tall ones they did.
No.
But
yes and no. It's a new. What they did was they cherry picked all the Sundays from those die cut tall books. So they
have those.
Yeah. So then you have all this.
The Seeger ones.
Yeah, you have all this. There you go.
But is it a smaller format, or
yeah,
is it?
Yeah.
It's got to be at that price.
And it's trade paperback in a slipcover. So it's a hard-ish slipcover that houses the trade paperback. It's really neat design.
So they still do a really nice design, even though it's a smaller format.
Oh yeah. And I don't blame them for repackaging it. I mean, the die-cut larger editions, those are all out of print, or most of them, I think. So yeah, why not? Who doesn't love E.C. Seeger? Come on.
It's good stuff.
It is good stuff, and you can get them at cheapgraphicnovels.com. Woot woot. There you go.
There you go.
I'm drinking.
Ooh.
Yes. The same thing as last week, but Mario didn't hear about this, or maybe he did. I don't know. I'm drinking Jim Beam, Kentucky Fire, cinnamon liqueur infused with Kentucky. I know he's going to laugh. With Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. I don't care.
He's so cute. I love it. I love it for you. This is fantastic.
Yes.
How much of this have you already had?
About half the bottle's gone.
Between last week and
within the last half an hour.
Oh, yeah. I'm drinking. See, this, I don't have like a shot glass. So I'm drinking it in a Sam Adams flight glass.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, flight glass. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's small and it's just, but I filled the flight glass up half every time, and I filled it up twice so far. So
yeah,
that's not bad.
I'm proud of you.
What about you, Mario?
I made a little cocktail before I
got
on with you guys. I'm having what's this called? Industry Sour, which is just equal parts Fernet Branca. Vince, you know Fernet? Did you drink Fernet growing up? Not growing up. Did your
They didn't. No.
parents?
No.
Anybody drink Fernet? Okay.
No.
Fernet Branca, which is an Italian liqueur. Green chartreuse, lime juice, and simple syrup, all equal parts, 1 ounce each.
Always the anisette. Always the anisette.
Yeah, the anisette,
Yeah. It must be from...
It's pretty good. It's nice and sour and sweet and herbal, very herbal.
Everything's based on location. So my mom's people are from the South. So I'm guessing anisette was popular in the South. I don't know.
Yeah. The anise usually is popular down south.
The anus, yes. I'm not proud.
What are you drinking, David?
Yeah.
I am. I had assumed that that Vince was still going to be enjoying his firewater, so I decided to join him, and I didn't. And also because you're here tonight, Mario. I wasn't sure if you were going to do a cocktail or something straight, but I did not want. I didn't feel like wine. Like I said, there's a bit of a chill. So yeah, I grabbed the Blantons off the shelf tonight.
Got the horsey out.
I got the little horsey out, a little Monopoly piece. Yeah, my neighbor Ron and I, we one night we were having a grand old time, and we met for dinner, and then we went to this cigar lounge. Before we went to the cigar lounge, we stopped in at the liquor store and we went half on this bottle. And he put quite a. I wasn't drinking all that much that night. He put quite a dent in this, so I got to bring the bottle home. So yeah, I'm still enjoying it.
Excellent.
Yeah, I also have a bone to pick with you and Tana about that Buffalo Trace stuff. You're all like, "Oh, Buffalo Trace is good," and
No, Basil Hayden.
No, I didn't even look at the Basil Hayden because when I saw the price of the Buffalo Trace, I'm like, "Fuck that."
Buffalo Trace has been going up in price, but Buffalo Trace was given to us by Val Staples.
Right, but you've had it on your own before, Val.
Yes,
right,
Yep.
and she's had Buffalo Trace. She's mentioned it here before, so I thought, okay, it's a familiar name, I'll try it. And I look at no, that's way too rich for my blood.
It's gotten. That's one that I've noticed, and I don't pay a lot of attention to. I don't pay attention to a lot of prices mostly, but that is one that I have seen jump up in price more than $1 or $2 over recent years.
I wouldn't mind $1 or $2, but yikes, yeah.
No, but compared to what it used to be,
Compared to what I spend on alcohol, come on.
no, I know.
Yeah, I'm like
Which
a
is
rummy.
why you're drinking a cinnamon liqueur. I know.
That's
Yeah, I
right.
get it.
That's right. All right. So now let's talk about the comics.
What do you got?
Comic books.
Yes, good old comic books. I have something that shouldn't exist.
Okay.
Let's hear about it.
It shouldn't. Because whenever the hype rises to a certain level, and hype is short for hyperbole, right? Whenever the hype is steamrolling and it seems like everyone loves something for various reasons, you got to wonder, how true is this? How close to the bone is all this commentary? Are these opinions true? Are they valid? Could this be? And usually, I mean, more often than not, the hype is almost never real, right? For whatever, either it's the people behind the property or it's people paid to promote the property, but whatever. I gotta say, the hype on this book is very real, to the point where, and the reason why I say it shouldn't exist is this could very well be the most perfect comic in the history of comics.
Oh.
Now, see, that's hyperbole. I'm being me now. But what I'm saying is, I don't think that we were talking about hibachi before, but I don't think I could assemble, like hibachi, ingredients to this degree that I could create the perfect comic like this.
You're getting me excited.
It has everything. It has horror. It's a horror sci-fi hybrid. It has occult elements. It's very frequently extremely funny. So there's comedic elements in it. It could be construed as a superhero comic if you work hard enough. There are a number of instances where human beings, albeit those with special receptors, who are attuned to certain things, receive entities that could very well be construed as superpowers. It is bawdy. It's very frequently borderline obscene. There are instances where the author has a beautiful sleight of hand, where they will lull you into a false sense of security, where you think a situation or a character will play out or act in a certain manner, and they just totally blindside you and do something that you did not see coming. It's very cheesecakey, bordering on fan service. It has one of the best romances ever in comics to date. I'm just going to tell you what it is. It's Dan to Dan.
Okay.
Like, if you, I cannot articulate the joy that this book brings me. And it's just it's a mishmash of a ton of different elements, but that final taste when everything congeals and all the little flavors start mixing together, like, it just works. And David, you've read any some Dan to Dan?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The first couple of volumes. Yeah. I think.
Okay, Mario, have you read any of it?
I have not read any of it. I am well aware of what it is, but I have not read any of it.
Have you watched the Netflix show?
I have watched a few episodes of the Netflix show.
The Netflix show is pretty much, as far as animation goes, it's pretty much perfect. And it's very, very faithful to the books. Extremely faithful.
That's
as in carbon copy to the books. So yeah, I mean, if you like the show, you'll love the books. The books are more there are more they're more body, and they're more explicit than the show. I think the show goes right up to the line where the books will jump over the line, because Dan to Dan is mature rated. So you have the explicit content warning on the cover of all the volumes. But I've read up to volume 9.
Damn. Okay.
So yeah, I'm completely caught up, and because I didn't want the show to outpace me, because the show moves at a really good clip, and I was like, oh boy, I better get them all read, because I don't want to see something on the show that I didn't read in the Tankobon. But there's constantly, and of course it's written and drawn by Yukinobu Tatsu, constantly introducing new characters. And one of the things that I love about this, and I said it's one of the best romances in comics, and I'm of course talking about Momo Ayase and Okarun, right? Where she is a very hard-edged young lady. She's rough around the edges. She's very temperamental and very assured, right? So she knows that she's capable, but she's at times unwilling to show emotion, as it may be perceived as a weakness. But she just can't help but show emotion for Ken, for Okarun. There's something about this kid that just gets to her, and it's a simple thing, but they very often quarrel, they fight. But they pull each other out of dangerous situations using the powers that they have. I won't go into it. We talked about it before, Mario. It's not convoluted, but there's a lot of history to it. So you've seen the show, right? You know, yeah. So, and in the quieter moments, like, she'll bump up against him, like with her shoulder, or she'll touch his hand when they're riding in a car. Like, that is a big deal for Momo. Like, she doesn't, that vulnerability is not her. And the fact that she unleashes it when she's around Ken, like, I think it's so sweet. In the meantime, he, like, when you get to the what is going on in the book, like, he's trying to get back his testicles. So it's, you have this tenderness on the one hand, but on the other hand, the book is very lowbrow. But Tatsu's drawing is absolutely insane. He's a master of the reveal. He knows exactly how much to reveal and how much to leave to the imagination. Many instances you'll have Momo or Ira, and they're in the middle of battle, and they usually wear skirts, little short skirts or dresses. And so when they're kicking and they're fighting, parts of their anatomy become visible, and Tatsu will just reveal just the right amount, like not too much. There's a scene in one of the volumes where the evil eye possesses Gigi, and he attacks Momo, and he rips her shirt, and you see a little bit of cleavage, and it's like too much would be too much. It's like the Vampirella thing, right? Like I don't ever want to see Momo nude, but it's the sizzle. Like I don't want the steak, just give me that sizzle. I love the tease, and he does it so freaking well. But I introed this by saying that he's very adept at pulling the rug out from underneath you, in that there are characters within this series that are very, very abrasive, like Turbo Granny, right? Foul mouth, very self-assured. She's an extremely powerful yokai that finds herself in the body of a fortune cat. So she's pissed off. She's a little mad, right? And she frequently tears apart. Well, I think she's had a problem with everybody in the cast so far. She'll hurl profanity at anybody, but she seems to have targeted Ira as one of her whipping girls. She likes to berate her, calling her a skank and a hussy and a slut and other things. So Turbo Granny doesn't miss an opportunity to tear somebody down verbally. Very, very, very abrasive character. But in the quieter moments, some things that most of the other characters don't get to see. I won't spoil it. It is one of the best sequences in the series of Tenkoban so far, where Turbo Granny's obviously in the body of the little fortune cat, and she sees something, an injustice, that she just can't leave untended to. And it's so it's not so much out of character, because you remember Turbo Granny was defending the spirits of those young ladies whose bodies were dumped in the tunnel. Remember that? If you've seen the anime, it's very early in that, where she had compassion for these young ladies who were murdered and just soullessly discarded like garbage in this tunnel. And this is along the same lines. Like she can't stand to see good souls maligned. So she does something. And it was right after she had a fight with Seiko, Granny, and Granny finds her and she sees what she's doing. Granny walks away and she's crying. Like Turbo Granny made Seiko cry. Like it's crazy, this scene. And it's not in the main story. It's a bonus in the back of the manga. It's like maybe 4 pages, but it's like the highlight of that volume. It is so heartfelt. You'll just be like, God damn it, you got me all choked up using this damn Turbo Granny? Like, how do you do that? How do you do it? It's amazing. But I won't continue.
Volume was this? Did you say?
There are 9 to date, and I think the one. Well, 9 to date in America. I don't know how many there have been in Japan, but yes, no, it's not. It may be in volume 7, the one I'm talking about. But one of the things I noticed about Tatsu is he doesn't hide it either. He seems to have a huge Ultraman fetish, because there are characters within this entire series that their physical characteristics make me think of Ultraman characters. Like there's a kaiju in volumes 8 and 9 that looks, to my eyes, to be a combination of the Red King and Gamora from Ultraman. And it's not like, oh, it kind of sort of looks like it. If you've seen the Red King's, like the way the Red King's body is proportioned, he has these rectangular sections that end in pointed areas, and the way the armor interlocks, like this kaiju looks just like the Red King's body. And then the shrimp alien is Kanagon. It's crazy. And there are other characters like the Dada. If you go back to the original volumes, those aliens in the beginning look a lot like the Dada aliens. And I was like, holy shit, like he seems to love Ultraman. I do too. I love Ultraman too. So, yeah, I'm having so much fun with this manga, and the fact that the Netflix show is just outstanding, like, is adding to it. It's just making me, I got this massive emotional ball of energy for Yukinobu Tatsu. Just, if you haven't read Dan to Dan, watch the Netflix show. Just watch one. That's all it's going to take. And then run out and buy all 8 or 9 Tankobon. It's from Viz and Shonen Jump. I think they've all been $11.99. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they're all $11.99 a piece, but you can get them cheaper than that. You know where to go. Cheap graphic novels. Yeah.
Is this still coming out? Like, is this still happening in Japan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's
behind on it.
Unlikely to have like an ending anytime soon. Or
no, I don't think. I think it's gonna,
as popular as it is.
If I had my druthers, he would pull a Master Oda and do 100 volumes like One Piece. See, and I thought, like, how much steam does this One Piece story have? You know, like, okay, once goals are reached, but the complexity of Dan to Dan so far in 9 volumes, like, he could easily bring this to 100. You know, just being off the wall left field as he is now. Like, there are permutations of this story that I never saw coming. He constantly introduces new characters. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I didn't even touch upon it because DAP didn't get anywhere, but there's like big doings in these volumes. And it's just, okay. But one of the things that amazes me about it is the reason why I say it could be construed as a superhero comic is there are yokai in the book, and they are so Tatsu's plugging into this Japanese mythology, as he should, right? If that's it's awesome. Who doesn't love yokai? But more often than not, the yokai seem to be blending with humans. So it's like you have an alter ego type thing, like Okarun with the granny power, how he gets that, emo look with the glasses and the stripes and the teeth and stuff. And the same thing with Ira, like with acrobatic Silky. She got the power from, like, there's more of that in these volumes. More people get power. So I'm thinking there's going to be like a Dan to Dan Justice League after a while, where you have all these superpowered kids just banding together to defeat evil. It's awesome. Get it. Dan to Dan.
I'm behind on it because of the subject matter. It's not available through the Shonen Jump app. You have to go to the website to read it, which I always fail to do. So
you mean because it's explicit?
Yes. Yeah, like Chainsaw Man, you can read in Shonen Jump. Except for, I think there was a couple of pages, not even a whole chapter, but there were a couple of pages from the first half of the series that you couldn't read through the app. So you had to go and read it through a browser. And then it's the same way.
I mean, it's all over the place. Nano machines. There's a giant Buddha mech. You get to see Granny in a hot tub. You get to see Granny with her hair down. Who doesn't want to see Seiko with her hair down?
Yeah, seriously.
Right. She can't be more than 30. I don't care. I don't care how old she claims to be. Physically, she looks like she's about 30. But anyway, it's perfect. It is perfect comics. Foreshadowing.
Really sold me.
Yeah, you need it. You really need it.
You should. Yeah.
And
I need to check out a volume just like online.
Volume. Going to start with number
Oh,
5.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you've seen like 1 or 2 episodes, I think the first 2 books are like the first 2 episodes of the Netflix thing. Maybe. I haven't compared, but it just seems like the Turbo Granny thing lasted, I think, 2 episodes. Yeah, it's just amazing. And I don't think he gets enough credit for his draftsmanship. I think his illustration style is absolutely gorgeous. Yep. Complex when it needs to be, light and breezy. And then in the midst of battle, he gets all rough and scratchy, and it looks like he's drawing with a Sharpie. Like it's just outstanding. I'm just going to shut up. Yeah.
No, I'm enjoying this.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Now, David, you're reading this as well, David?
I am. I'm way behind on it, but yes.
Great.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
See, I didn't spoil anything for you. Nobody dies, but characters change.
I think that's expected.
Yeah. Well, who wants to read a stagnant comic? You want that? Well, I won't say anything.
Yeah.
What are you reading?
You want
David?
that? That's exactly it. Nice segue. No, you go next.
Me? All right.
Yeah.
Let me think here. Do I talk about something big or something little?
We like big.
All right. I reread not too long ago a comic book, graphic novel, a picture novel, as it is called. If you want to get arrogant, or a picture novel that was released in 2001. The collection was 2001. Originally serialized as a strip in a Seattle alternative paper, The Stranger, in the mid-90s, and then published in some small forms in the mid-90s by Penny Dreadful Press. As I said, this collected edition was published in 2001 by Drawn and Quarterly. Not sure if it's still in print. The author, artist, writer, all together, is known for a different work, mostly. But this was his first work. And the other work he is known for is called Berlin. And the cartoonist is Jason Lutes. And I read Jar of Fools. I reread Jar of Fools. You ever read this, David?
I have not.
You want to hear something sad? I have it, but I've never read it. It's upstairs on my shelf. Yeah.
I'm going to make you read it this weekend.
Awesome.
All right.
You do that.
Yes. So this is a story. It's it's only 142 pages. So this is it's a graphic novel. It is the story of a washed up stage magician named Ernie Weiss, or Weiss, depending on if that W is pronounced as a V. I like to say it as a V, but could be Ernie Weiss, which I'm assuming is a take on Harry Houdini's real name, which his last name was Weiss, but I think it was Eric or Mark, something like that. But we got a washed up stage magician, escape artist, named Ernie. He's out of work. He's just got through a breakup not too long ago. He's fairly miserable. He's drinking, and his brother's dead.
It's not good.
Yeah. So it's a There's nothing magical in this. This is complete. This is like the, if we're talking about Dan to Dan, we'll go the other way, right?
This
So
is
we'll
sad
go
to
for
that. Sad to sad.
Sad. Yes. All right. So the book it opens with Eric or Ernie, and he is it's like a daydream that he's having. You don't know it's a dream at first till a few pages in, but he's ballroom dancing with a woman, and she essentially like melts into wax and goo in his hands, and he can't hold on to her, and he's horrified. And then it cuts, and he's sitting on a bench in a park. But this is when we learn that he is a washed-up magician, and his mentor was a man named Albert Flosso. Albert Flosso. Which is an old vaudevillian magician that taught him. Al happens to be in a nursing home, but since Al was one of the greatest escape artists that ever lived, he is able to escape that nursing home and meets Ernie in a coffee shop. Al is pretty great. He kind of reminds me of a cross between Danny DeVito, and my grandfather, my Italian grandfather. My grandfather was a very short Italian man with like a big nose. He wore glasses that were like the thick plastic, almost a little like Junior Soprano. Like if you picture that face, but like bulkier, thicker, shorter, like Jack Kirby, little squat body. And I guess this guy's actually, I guess there really was a real Al Flosso, which I didn't know this. Have you ever heard of this guy? He was like a real American stage magician. You can do a Google search for him. Look for him. Google search, look for him, and a picture of him with a top hat and glasses, and it's almost my grandfather.
Wow.
Yeah, very similar. But this is his mentor, and Al's busted out of the old folks home, right? And he wants to help Ernie get a new act together, right? That's what he feels like he wants to do. But Al's kind of, he's slipping in and out of dementia. You could tell that that's what's happening. He calls Ernie Eddie at one point. He's forgetful. He doesn't know what's going on. The nursing home's out looking for him, and Ernie puts up with him. But Then Ernie. Then we see what happened to Ernie's brother, and Ernie has a dream about his dead brother Howard, and Howard was a magician as well. And Howard in this dream is in a straitjacket, the classic like straitjacket. He's got like the ankle weights, with like a big ball and chain around his ankle, and he's standing on a bridge in a city. Right, and he's going to do this escape. He's going to jump in the water off the bridge, and he's going to escape. But this is how he actually died, in front of an audience, and his brother. And you're led to believe in the story. There's some question on whether it was an accident or whether Howard was just done with it all, and that's how he ended his life. And did he do this? Did he do this because if you kill yourself, that would have a huge effect on your family and people. But if you died while doing your magic, they wouldn't know you killed yourself, right? It's almost like he's saving them the sadness of him killing himself, so they don't have to worry about the rest of their lives why he did it.
Then you become a legend.
But he still died.
Yeah. Remember that British comedian magician that died on stage and everybody thought it was part of his act? And for 12 minutes, the camera was on him and he was dead. He had a heart attack.
Oh,
no
idea.
I forget his name, but yeah.
Interesting.
Sorry.
Yeah, so Howard's death just it's what haunts Ernie throughout this whole book. If you've ever read Berlin, you could picture Jason Lutes cartooning. It's very 90s. I mean, I don't even know how to say it. It's so 90s indie, obviously European inspired, Per-J-esque, you know what I mean? Like a simple but thick line. Anyway, we're then introduced to, let's see here, Ernie's ex, Esther, and we find out that she was the girl from the dream at the beginning that he was dancing with and melted away. She has a new boyfriend. She works in a coffee shop. She obviously hates her life, the day-to-day of the customers and all that shit. And she just wants to disappear. And then there are other two characters in really the only other two characters in the book are a man named Mr. Linder. He is a con man, acquaintance of Ernie's, and he has a daughter, Claire. And he and his daughter are currently homeless, living in their car. And Mr. Linder just wants a better life for his daughter. But yeah, it's a really great book. I don't want to give away too much, but Ernie and Al end up on the run from the nursing home people. They end up meeting up with
me and Dap in
Linder
like
and
20
Claire.
years.
Yes, exactly. We'll have to take you back. They end up running into Linder and Claire. They end up living with them under a bridge of an interstate in like one of those. What are those called? What are like the water canal things called? At like,
Yeah, I get
called
it.
something. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like in California.
People are always driving down.
Yeah, they're doing
like
skateboards and
Greece.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Greece, exactly. They're living under a bridge in one of those. And Linder wants Ernie to start teaching Claire magic because he wants her to be able to make some money. And he thinks that this will help her. And eventually Esther finds her way to them. It's beautiful. There's nothing fantastical about it. It's terribly depressing.
Sometimes that's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that sometimes. The characters are very realistic. But the art is, Jason Lutes, if you know Berlin. He kind of has almost like a 16 panel grid structure. It's very
Yikes.
Yeah, there's obviously like parts of the grid where 4 of those panels are now 2, right? But that's kind of his grid he's going with. But it allows him to reveal the story slowly, right? A lot of facial expressions, a lot of body language. His dream sequences almost have like a Japanese comics art quality to them.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me think of what's that?
Paradise. What is it? Paradise Island. Or
no, I was thinking did you read Understanding Comics? David, you've read Understanding Comics.
Yeah. Hey, did you ever see that show Friends? It's really funny.
No. All right, wait. All right. So there's a whole section in there, right, where he talks about the different types of panels and perspectives, kind of, right?
Okay.
And that the Eastern perspective in the panels is different.
Yes.
Like they focus on different things. Do you remember that kind of moment in there?
Yep.
Any of his, lots of his panels where it's just landscapes or outside or things like that they feel like that. They feel more Eastern in their layout and the way it's structured. There's tons of pages without dialogue, just told in things are happening in faces and body language and.
So I mean, what's the theme? Is it like the search for relevance? Is it a striving to escape the confines of anything, society, whatever?
He's obviously haunted by his brother's death, and that comes back towards the end.
Guilt.
It's It's loss. It's loss because he lost this girl, right? It starts out with her melting in his hands. He can't hold on to her, right?
That's not good.
He dreams about his brother, his brother losing his brother. So it's about loss. It's
Okay.
about loss and magic and memory and, it's pretty astonishing work he was in his, early 20s when he did this. It's very surprising how accomplished this work is.
It seems like it should have been created by a person who has had much more life experience.
Yes, absolutely. Like he understands Al, the old man. Like
Right.
there's so much you feel for Al, right? And someone, that's feeling for older people is not something or people in their 20s and the early 90s
Nah.
usually would be doing.
It's true.
But it's I really enjoy it. It's but I will say it ends up with sacrifices and choices that you're upset are made. It's not a neat bow at the end. It's rough. It's a rough read as a father. It's a rough, the little girl and what happens with her, and it's a rough as a person who's lost a good friend to suicide. It's rough as someone who feels that sometimes the world might be too much, and like a magician, they just want to disappear completely.
Right.
That's kind of what it is.
Gonna have to pull it off the shelf.
But it's a real quick read, Vince. Just the cartooning itself. I think the cartooning itself is worth the time that you put into it. I don't even know what Jason Lutes is doing nowadays. It also, at the same time, feels like it could have been, and he wouldn't have done this, I don't think, in his early 20s, in the early 90s, but it feels like what they were doing in the mid to late 90s, when you would read a comic and you're like, this person just wants this made into a movie made by Miramax. You know what I mean? Or one of the smaller art house movies in the mid to late 90s where lots of stuff was, it was a graphic novel, now we're making a movie.
Yeah, Blumhouse or something.
And it was obviously written to be made into a movie.
Right.
But I don't think that was his intent here, considering he serialized it in a newspaper,
I have a bunch of The Stranger around here somewhere.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know where I got them. But yeah, I have some. I doubt that I have the entirety of Jar of Fools. So
Right.
I'm glad I have the.
He actually didn't.
the
He didn't
book.
finish it in the magazine in the newspaper.
Oh, good, nice.
Yeah, I think this collection is the first. This is the 2001 collection. I think this is the first complete. Like the story was completed here.
Right.
There was a collection before this that was called the Incomplete Collection, I think, which was maybe a couple parts, but yeah. Read it on a sunny day when you're feeling good.
Nice.
Don't read it at the bottom of the bottle, in the middle of winter.
Not good.
But yeah, Jar of Fools, Jason Lutes.
We should do an episode on seasonal books. Like you're I don't think you would be very willing to read From Hell in the summer or the spring. Like From Hell is a winter fall book, right?
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, we should look into that. I think that would be fun.
But I also have weird things. Like I want to read. Why can't I remember the name of it? Jodorowsky and Mobius.
The Inkle.
Yeah, I want to read the Inkle in the summer. I don't know why. I'll see the Inkle on the shelf, and it's only in the summertime. I'll be like, I want to read that outside.
Well, it lends itself to long, deep dives, right? Because the Inkle's, it's not a huge series, but it's pretty involved. It's pretty dense. So yeah, I would see you would want to read that.
It's not a quick read.
No,
it's not a quick read at all.
No. Yeah, let's look into that. Dap, pencil that in the schedule.
You got it.
Okay. Before Dap, you take the stage. I don't think we need to spend very much time on this, but Dap and I read Rocketfellers #1.
We did.
I read that as well.
Awesome.
Nice.
Excellent.
I read that as well.
Written by Peter J. Tomasi, he who had the shield unceremoniously stripped from his costume because Bendis wanted it. Illustrated by Francis Manipool. Sorry, Dab. And it's under the Ghost Machine imprint over at Image.
The Ghost Machine imprint and the Family Odysseys subprint.
All right. Going in, I will say I enjoyed the book. It was fun. It was a nice distraction. But it's the goddamn Duggars with a time machine. Because everybody's name begins with an R.
Yeah.
It's Roland, Rachel, Rodney, Rose, Richie, Ray, Rex, his brother Reggie. Like, do we not have any kind of, all right, let's do something crazy and name somebody that with
Quentin.
or Ziggy. I get it, but the names kind of annoyed me.
Do you know any families that do that?
Yeah, the Duggars, right? They aren't
I
they
mean,
all?
like personally? Do you know any families
Yes,
that do that?
yes.
Yeah, I know a few. Yep.
And it's like they have 4 kids and they all have the same letter in their first name. It's like, okay.
Yep.
It's so dumb. But I thought the book was fun. Story was fun. The art was I think it didn't give Manipool opportunity to go nuts, but for the most part, but where it did, I think he shined very well. It was enjoyable. I think it was no big shakes too. If I stack it up, did I enjoy it as much as Geiger or Redcoat or Rook? I did not enjoy it as much as Rook #1. Let's just be totally honest about that. I thought Rook #1 was like, they were swinging for the fences on that. I think this is a nice slow start because we don't really know anybody yet.
Yeah, and that's why as obviously as sad as that moment is meant to be, losing a family member 3 pages into it didn't necessarily.
Rose isn't dead.
Yeah.
I know.
She was submerged in frigid water.
Right. She's slowly, right. She's just resting.
She ain't
but
dead.
it just, and I'm sure you're right. There was nothing, and that's part of probably why it feels that way, because, don't get too attached to somebody right away. I mean, it's not like it's The Walking Dead where you've known somebody for a dozen issues. So,
most of it was a pool party. Like, I did not envy Manipool having to eke out visual diversity with a pool party.
Right.
Yep.
But he did
his
it.
figure work is fantastic, and it's a neat introduction. We're meeting this family, and as far as what they do, what they can do, but yeah, I feel like I kind of got the gist in those preview pages that we got earlier in the year, late last year.
Those were original pages, which were great. Like, that's one of the things on Ghost Machine number 0 or number 1. All of the pages in there were original. Like, you didn't see anything duplicated in this first issue. Which
Hyde Street, yes, but here, no. Yeah.
Right. I tell you how it's going to pan out. I've been like in my Karnak mode. Richie's.
I have theories as well. Let's see if they're the same.
Richie's little pool device that he fired off to impress his friends. He used technology not relevant to the time period, which is going to attract the people hunting them. Why would you waste 2 pages, 3 pages on Richie setting up this little prank with this device that just blows everybody out of the pool? Everybody gets wet. It's fun, but it's like, it has to be relevant to the story somehow. And I think that little spike of technology is going to attract the Kronex people, and they're gonna get a beat on them. Did you feel that way, Mario?
No. Here's my theory. You ready for my theory?
I would like you to get closer to the microphone so I can hear it.
My theory, how about that? Is that better? At the end, when he's talking to his brother, or whoever that is, right? I think it's his brother.
It's his brother, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
His brother's the bad guy.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Right? his brother's going to be the bad guy.
I think the cool thing is, though, that his
brother's keeping him there for a reason. Like, he's saying, like, you got to hide there, but he's keeping him away for a reason.
But then if the brother knew where they were and he's the bad guy, then wouldn't the assault troops be on them already?
Unless he's content with him being there for right now.
I don't think that woman is content having anything other than her way. I don't know if Kronex was the group that she's from or if she's named Kronex, but Kronex was used somewhere in that sequence. But I think she's relentless in her pursuit. She's going to find them.
Yeah.
But
and listen, am I dumb or am I supposed to know what that little testicle is in that thing at the end?
Looks like an eyeball.
It looks like an eyeball with eyelashes. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was an eyeball.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Like, but what is it?
I don't know. Something in a jar that we're going to have to wait till next issue to find out. It's a testicle. Maybe it's Ken's. It's Okarun's testicle.
Oh, jeez.
You want to hear something special about this comic, Vince?
What's special about it? I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things special. Tell me.
This is the first Ghost Machine comic that I have read.
Oh, your craziness, dude. Yeah. I can't.
First one I've read. Not because I don't want to. It's just happened. It just ended up that way.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's not a horror. I mean, there is no horrible Ghost Machine book. So, I'll be totally honest with you. I've ordered everything to date except for Hornsby and Halo.
Same.
That one just doesn't look like it's going to click with me. Looks a little too cutesy, a little too cartoony for me. But everything else, I mean, you're going to hear it in our 11 o'clockers. Ghost Machine's going to factor in pretty damn heavily in my 11 o'clockers for this year. I mean, go back and look at just all the go through the show notes of the last, like, maybe 20, 25 episodes. I bet you we talked about Ghost Machine at least 10 times. That's unheard of. We don't usually focus on an imprint within a much bigger publishing sphere like that. We just don't do it. And yet we did because the books are good. I think Mario would like, if I had to pick, I think Mario would like Redcoat the best.
I think, yeah, he probably would, unless he thinks it would be too clever.
Maybe.
With the historical play, but
Geiger has too much backstory.
I think he would prefer Rook Exodus over Geiger, but yeah, I don't know if he'd prefer Rook over Redcoat.
Yeah. The
as we talk about,
you would need to do a little bit of work with Geiger to get the full story, but I think Rook is don't get me wrong, I think the story's great, but Rook is very distracting eye candy. Mario may have an issue with just how good the book looks. You know how he is. He's anti everything. So
I like how you guys are talking about me like I'm not even.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like as if we're just.
But I think Redcoat has I mean, you may not like Hitch. I don't know what your opinion is on Hitch, but I think it's the best Hitch has been in a long time. But the story of Redcoat is relatable. It involves characters from American history, European history. Yeah, I think it's very accessible, but there's a Masonic undercurrent to it that just like that captured my heart. If you're gonna poke that bear, because you don't fucks with the Masons, man, it's not good. But it's there. And oddly enough, if we have enough time, I'm going to talk about another book that has a very strong Masonic undercurrent to it. What's happening?
Oddly enough,
they won't return my emails.
You didn't go to Christopher?
Oh no, I don't want to do that yet. I want to exhaust my own.
No, I get it. Yeah. But I mean, well, at least maybe pointed in the right direction or something. Not to.
Yeah, I've been trying. They just
assistance.
Yeah, I did the, hey, Look at me.
You did the secret
I
handshake and
want to
everything?
join, but nope.
Damn.
You're
Did
Italian.
What'd you
Did
say,
we-
Mario?
They're not gonna let you join. You're Italian.
Doesn't matter. All you got to do is want to better yourself and humanity and believe in something. That's all you need.
Not in the old days.
Well, I mean, if they follow the credo, doesn't matter what you are, even though every president has been a Mason. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Pretty much.
I don't
Pretty
know.
much. Pretty
Trump
much is different than
amazing.
every Obama.
yeah, I think
Obama,
so.
Obama.
those are the two that jump out of my mind.
Were we supposed to know that? I realize that this issue is 24 hours old. Were we supposed to know that Rex?
It's like a
dog?
fucking. I don't think so.
until the helicopter
missed
scene,
that.
and then as he's gnawing on this pipe through the family panels.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think that was supposed to be a whoa moment because
Okay, cool.
they didn't in the Ghost Machine #1. No, there's no indication.
And
that-
even when they're escaping Chronix, there's no indication. But it's not until he's got his big pink eyes and like the tentacles in the helicopter. But then Mom gives him a pipe to teeth on, and he's going through the house, and like it's a freaking nub by the time he visits Grandpa.
But I mean, it's a dog that has like a helmet and a visor and shit. Like there's something special about the dog to begin with. But maybe it's just a smart dog. But it's very smart, obviously, because it's got some. It's either cybernetic totally, or it's been augmented or something.
It's a ribbit.
Yeah, I love time travel stories. Like, let's go hide in the past. Like that's fun for me. But if they start to get into the paradox shit, like Doctor Who frequently does, then I'm just like, oh, my head hurts.
What is that? What do you mean by paradox?
When it's just like when they start to
Like
get
fixing a moment in history or something?
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean the whole permutation of various instances in time, like this happened, which led to this and caused this way back in time. Like it's when it starts to get too convoluted, that's when I start to detach.
Gotcha.
I like time travel, but I don't want to have to do the thumbtacks with the red string just to see how the damn story makes sense.
So Star Trek 4, yay or nay?
Oh no, that's fun. Yeah, that's not overly complex. Oh, there's a Star Trek edge to my book too that I'm going to talk about.
Man.
Yeah.
You're getting the nethers all riled up.
I know it.
This
The
is,
nethers.
I thought and also the coloring on Rocketfellers really popped. It's
Smooth.
a slick looking package.
Yeah.
It's as far as visually, because Rook is rather dark. Geiger is definitely dark. Redcoat is dark humor at times, but also it's not like there's not a lot of electricity back then. So, but this is definitely the brightest visually of the Ghost Machine books to date.
Manipul's an artist that's very comfortable with his fluid line. He doesn't need to put as much line, and I'm not saying Fabak is hiding something with the detail. He loves detail, but Manipul doesn't seem to need that level of detail.
Manipul reminds me of Maguire, where he'll let the colors do some of the heavier lifting.
Yeah, and I think this is the Rocketfellers is a little bit tighter than the Flash stuff. Like the Flash stuff was very loose, I think.
Right.
Maybe because
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
He's very tight in this.
Yeah, he's
Did you
drawn
read
it.
this? I'm assuming you guys read this digitally, yes?
The what?
You read it digitally?
Yeah, I did only because I have the physical copy coming, but I'm forced to read it.
It looks great on screen. It really does.
It does.
Color
It really does.
and everything.
How is the paper stock on the Ghost Machine stuff?
Oh, amazing. See, that's one of the things you're missing with the Ghost Machine books. The covers are all cardstock. So you get, I've said this before, you get a nice the book has a nice weight to it, where it doesn't feel like a flimsy ass Marvel comic where it's like, I paid $5 for this, and it weighs like maybe 2 ounces. The Ghost Machine books have that nice cardstock cover. Everything within the covers relates to Ghost Machine, so you're not going to get an ad for Savage Dragon within the pages of a Ghost Machine book. It's either, well, you've seen it, like the timeline, or you get maybe a preview page from an upcoming book. Like it's a very self-contained universe. I love these books. If I'm going to pay $4 for a comic, it better have a cardstock cover. That's why I'm supporting them, because I think they give you value for your dollar. On the flip side, that's why I parted ways with Dynamite, because Dynamite's books are all $4.99, and they have a cardstock cover, but they're not worth it to me. Like, you're upping the cost of a book $1 for the cardstock cover. Look what Ghost Machine's doing, keeping it at $3.99, and they're giving you a nice value, nice weight, the tactile. Yeah, well, remember that DC didn't hold that line very long.
No.
But they tried. They tried.
They put it on the cover.
It's like, look, they're looking over the fence. It's like, those guys at Marvel, they're at $3.99. Remember back in the days when comics went up a quarter? When they went up?
They were from 65 cents to 75 cents. I was like, holy, I mean, they went from 60 to 65 to 75 to a buck and a quarter. And that was, and I still, obviously this dates us, but I just, it blows my mind that when we were reading comics in the 80s, that the indies were cheaper. Were more expensive than the big two, because Eclipse or Kamiko,
remember,
they were all like a buck and a quarter, $1.50. Where
then $2
DC were still 75 cents, and but now obviously, I mean, you can get an image book for $3.99, but you're paying close at $5 for most of the Marvel stuff.
Oh, I go through the previews, right, and It's like other things we see in the world today, where it's like you're setting yourself up for failure. Where I look at the page count, it's like 24 pages. Okay. Cover price, $6.99 or $7. Like, who in the hell is going to pay $7 or $8 for 24 pages? You may have your core audience that'll do it. Like, I'm sure Coffin Comics has a relatively good amount of people that will keep buying those books. But it's like, there are like, one of the things I share with my daughter is that we love the SCP videos on YouTube. Secure, Contain, Protect, where they have these paranormal entities, and there's this organization whose job it is to contain and safeguard people from these beings, right? And it's a shared universe. Anybody can do it or contribute to it. But you have these comics within the previews where it's like SCP branded comics that they're 24 pages and they're like $9.99 for the issue or more. $12.99. Like, who the hell are buying these things? Like, I don't understand. How much of this stuff do you print? You need to print, like, there's a certain amount of books a printer's going to print. They need to print a certain amount before to allow you press time. Because if you're not going to meet their minimum numbers, they'll just,
it's not worth their,
they'll just sell that time to somebody else. Yeah. So if you don't, like, how many copies of these things are being printed? Are they eating it after a certain, like, I don't know. But I look at the price of floppies and it's like stupid. It's ridiculous. And then you look at the price of manga where you can get 200 pages for like $11. Like, the value's right there. Whatever. I'm on my old soapbox again. I just don't know. I don't foresee, and then we've said this forever, but what's the life expectancy of a floppy? How much more are people going to pay for? Is $4.99 the limit? Marvel and DC, what if Marvel and DC go up to $5.99? Like $6 for a comic?
no, there would have to be.
It's
I
going
don't.
to happen.
It's
going to
Oh,
happen.
it's going to, and that's and that's when I guess but
we
and
know the
this is a separate
solution,
issue.
but they don't listen to us.
Oh, absolutely not. And yeah, they haven't. They won't. At least not the big publishers.
That would
but
fix everything.
It really would. It
Yeah.
absolutely would. Put us in charge for a couple things for a quarter or half a year and see what happens. But
I would do it for free. Did you hear that? I'm sorry, that Tom Scioli's working for free as art director on the Fantastic Four movie.
Wow.
That's not a bad choice, though. That's
It's
not a
not.
bad choice.
It's
No,
not.
it's not. I mean, they're smart enough to know to go to the person that's going to do it right. But I read it on Blue Sky. I don't know. Maybe it was Heidi McDonald that
Oh, that's awesome.
sent it out.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's relatively. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, Tom is relatively unknown, right? That's maybe not a bad choice for him. It might open a lot of doors for him.
Right. And how much, I don't want to say this because I don't know what it entails, but seriously, how much work does he have to do? Like pull panels from Kirby stuff and say, this is the way it's done. Do this. Right. I may be underselling it and it could be very much more detailed than that, but, and I'm sure I would love to have him on and just to pick his brain and say, you know, what's the deal, Tom? I want to know. But anyway, sorry, Deb.
What also makes it real easy for me to just kind of shrug off singles is getting a freaking cancellation notice for the last issue of a miniseries, and of all miniseries, the first third of Wagner's Grendel miniseries. And
I don't understand that. I would think Dark Horse would
What
be.
happened?
DCBS did a cancellation notice for the fourth. Was it the fourth issue?
the fourth and final issue of Grendel Devil's Crucible.
Yeah,
Defiance.
and it was like shortages not replaced. And I'm like, I don't understand that because I would think Dark Horse would be more than willing to fill that order,
Or at least put print.
unless it's like 10 copies. Then it's like, fuck, you're on
It's
your
the
own.
final issue of the first.
The first of the
third.
12. Right. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
The fourth issue of the 12-issue series, but it's I don't know when the next chapter starts, but obviously they didn't print the same amount of the third issue, which I got. I reached out to my shop and they hopefully they'll come through, but the message they sent me was that they put the order in for me. But Diamond did have a memo next to it saying that it's low in stock. So we'll see.
What?
So I mean, if I don't get it, I don't know then if I'll bother, because I'm like that. I mean, I'm not saying I won't find it at Baltimore Heroes next year, but I'm like
No, but now you're in because you're in a tough spot. Do you
Can't read the next series.
right? Do you
Like,
buy
you
the
have
next
to-
series
I-
in
you would
singles?
just wait till it was all done.
Right. And I mean that kind of segues into one of the things I'm going to talk about. But it's so I mean I will, as far as what I will still buy in singles for now until the price gets uncomfortable, would be the Superman in Action books, and that's kind of really all I get.
They're $4.99.
Well, are they both? Is Superman $4.99?
I don't know.
I mean, obviously we get at a discount, but yeah,
I
mean,
know Action is $4.99.
That's got the backup story though. That's a little on the bigger side. Well, I know the previous issue when you weighed 1075 recently, so that was like an anniversary issue. In any event, like I don't really pay attention to the price on those books, but
right, because
like,
you love it.
Start to right, and but if I'm putting my order in and I see that jump up, then I'll just stick to collections and I'll look for singles in the back issue bins where they're cheaper. I'm over instant gratification. I don't need that anymore. I don't care if I have. I'm past the point, especially with all the crap we have, and if we decide to move, I don't need all this crap anymore. So if I stop buying singles, that's not going to hurt me like it would have 5 years ago. So I'm not. I just. But when things like that happen, where it's just like, oh, you really wanted this psych, and so I'm just like, well, then, fuck me very much. I don't.
Wow.
I'm not going to get. I'm not going to get broken up over it, but I'll adapt. I'll change my ways, and to some degree, if that happens, then I'll just, whether that's cutting off my nose or not, I'll just drop that title completely. I'll just whatever, and it doesn't exist anymore. I'm not going to, because again, like we've been saying since we pretty much started the show, I don't care if I don't buy anything new, because I've got so much crap I still have to read. So I'm good.
I hear you.
I mean, yes, would I like to read new things every once in a while to stay current? Sure. But do I have to own everything? No, I haven't had to own things in a while. And I mean, we've got the final 3 volumes of Terry and the Pirates coming next year. I don't know how many more Topi volumes there are going to be, since that was only supposed to really kind of be like 7.
I think that's going to go on for a long time.
And honestly, I don't even know if anything's been duplicated yet. I don't know if some of these little Bible stories or old world are in other volumes, other previous volumes that are numbered. So,
right.
But yeah, I'll just stick with the things that that like the Triangular Omnibus. We got the 3 ROMs, we got the 3 Micronauts. I mean, I'm good on that.
I'm thinking the one thing I can't do without is books.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because it's in my blood, my DNA. I'm just wired for books. But I would like to curtail my spending drastically, because I don't want to contribute to anything for the Orange Enema. Right? So I'm thinking vinyl, I don't need it. Toys, don't need it. Books, I need. But I look at my shelves and I'm like,
you got plenty of books.
I really don't need to buy another book for the next, ever, because I have so much. So I've been tweaking, I'm trying to buy books to the point where if I can read them within the month that I buy them, fine. But I'm not going to buy 10 books and just because, and maybe get to it next month, maybe, because I never do it. I'll buy a stack of stuff and I just never get around to it. So I'm thinking just take a little stand and try and not, contribute to that machine, because I don't want to do that. I'll still buy.
Yeah, there's not a month that goes by that I don't think, maybe I shouldn't make a previews order and I should just stop buying new books and just focus the rest of my life on reading the books I have.
Right. Yeah. You'll never stop buying Amazing, though.
Still haven't.
I know. And
I can tell you the last time I read it.
Well, right. But let's get off the old man.
Yes.
Couch.
So this is this is weird. This is a same creative team, different publisher, Orama.
Huh.
Yeah. So back in
how the hell am I going to do that?
So back in I want to say 2021, an Image miniseries called The Thing Called Truth. It was a 5-issue miniseries, written and illustrated by Yolanda Zanfordino and Elisa Romboli, and it was about 2 characters. The lead were 2 characters, Mags and Dorian, and basically it was a wild 5 issues, because our our kind of buttoned up doctor, Mag. She's a scientist, but she's set in her ways, and she bumps into Dorian, and Dorian doesn't have a death wish. Her brother had passed away, and she has a condition, so she's not sure how much longer she has, but she wants to go on. She wants to finish this book, basically this diary, kind of like a book full of missions that she and her brother had worked on, and so she was going to go on all the missions for her brother, on behalf of her brother, and Mag gets caught up in it, and they end up going overseas to Europe, and while that's happening, there's a lot of crap going on back at the lab where Mag was working, but the company was trying to do some underhanded shit and trying to basically take all her experiments. So she was kind of just like, well, the hell with it all, and she leaves. Meanwhile, she has an ex-husband who's dying to have her sign divorce papers because he's with a woman who is very, very pregnant, and he wants to marry her, and so they can start their life. And obviously, Mag's overseas. That's not really happening. 5 issues comes and goes, and we were supposed to get they were going to take a hiatus and then come back to finish the story. I guess sales weren't all that great because in 2022, still with Image, these 2 young ladies came out with a new series called The Least We Can Do, which was kind of like a street level fantasy kind of book. Not quite like medieval era, but had that vibe. So they crowdsourced. They were on a Kickstarter to finish a thing called Truth, to package the last 5 issues in a trade. So that arrived last week. Was my new travels. I finally got to read it this weekend, and I like the way the story ended. It does end on a happy note. It does feel a little rushed in spots. There were some things that could have been paced out a little bit more. We didn't really focus on the adventures overseas as much as the last half of the series was kind of dealing with things that were happening back in the States with the lab and the ex-husband. But once our heroines come back home to the States to kind of right any wrongs that the evil corp had their hands in, it all works out. We even get we fast forward to 10 years later. It's a sweet story. These 2 women, Dorian and Mag, they're a great team. The opposites definitely attract here. The art is fantastic. Like I've said, the Romboli's art, Elisa's art, reminds me of Joelle Jones in spots. There's a bit of a manga feel at times. It's a sweet little story. And for some reason, I guess, just like Miller leaving Image and going to Dark Horse, a new miniseries, was put out by Dark Horse this week, and it's called You Never Heard of Me, by the same creators, by Yolanda and Elisa. And this is a story about Will, who is a high school student, and Will's family has the power, has the magical gift of foresight, and currently that's the grandmother. Will's grandmother is in possession of that. Will hasn't had necessarily a super easy life. Will has an older sister, and he has their father and their grandmother. Mom kind of bounced a long time ago. But because everybody knew Grandma had the gift, what this gift allows you to do, the seer, while touching someone, can see both the best and the worst moment of their life, be it past or future. But the tricky part is, according to this, those moments constantly change depending on that person's life choices. And so eventually, people were either just didn't want to hear what grandma had to say, and the family was kind of forced out of town, and they were and they just kept traveling until they ended up at basically like the ass end of somewhere. It's called a small town called Land's End. So you've got grandma, you've got dad, you've got Will, and Will's sister, and the Will goes to see grandma while he's kind of just Will's a loner. He's hanging out on the over by the shore by himself until Pig Sis comes over and grabs him, and because Dad's looking for him, they get home to the house, and we get Will and his grandma having a nice little moment together right before grandma passes, and he it's a solemn moment, but we end up back at school a couple days later. Will's got a lot on his mind. He's not necessarily a star student. He takes things. He's kind of lax in his attitude, and especially the way he approaches schoolwork. He's asking about his teacher's asking. She's asking him about some of the books that she lent him. He hasn't read them yet. And he's really just kind of like, he passes tests, but just kind of like barely. He's walking through the halls on his way to the next class, and you see a couple of bullies picking on some kids in the background, and one of the kids that gets picked on is just runs away and beats feet down the hall and bumps into Will and touches Will. And that's when Will realizes that now he has this gift. And he sees, and it's a very goldish yellow tint for the best moments in someone's life, and a cold blue on the more solemn moments. And he realizes this, and then he starts running through the halls, but he's bumping into other students, and now it's just like it's information overload, sensory overload. He's got to get out. He finally makes his way out of the school, runs home, and Dad's there, and he realizes that he's going to confess basically that, Dad, I've got it. Grandma passed it to me. But before he can do that, Dad's just like, listen, I didn't inherit my mom's gift. And I tried. I guess he's going around town touching people and shit, but like nothing's happening. And so I guess Dad assumed that it would have gone to him. Now, Will did hold Grandma's hand right before she passed, so I don't know if that's what did it or if it just skipped a generation. But Dad's just like, I don't know what the hell we're going to do. Maybe it's the end of, maybe this is it. Maybe our line of seers ended with Grandma, but Will still hasn't said anything, hasn't fessed up. So he's just letting Dad kind of just get everything off his chest, and but they kind of get into a little bit of a quarrel, and so Dad reaches out, touches Will's arm, and that's when Will sees Dad's best and worst moments, and he kind of just shrugs it off, and he goes to his room. But yeah, it's this was a weird week because a lot of what I read were really kind of just they felt like chapters in a larger story. Like even though this and Rocketfellers were first issues, they didn't necessarily knock me on my ass as though this was a first issue. Like this was a big momentous introduction, and strap in for the ride we're about to go on. And this was a solid start, but I didn't get the same impact that I did from The Least We Can Do or A Thing Called Truth #1 from these two women. But it's still, the art's still great. I dig the story because I like these characters, so I'm gonna stick with it. But I dig the concept of it. I got to see where else. I don't know what happened to Sis because I guess she's still at school when Will dips out. But and that was the other part of it. Like we get some big moments as far as what the gift is, and we see how that plays out, but we don't really get a whole lot. We get Will explaining, Will giving the family backstory in flashbacks. We get that, but like as far as what else is going on with Big Sis or with Dad, like we don't get a lot of that in the first issue. So I don't know if we will in the next issue, if we'll see the family fleshed out. But no, I thought it was a solid start. I really, really like this creative team. I think the stories that Yolanda tells are entertaining, and I really, really do like Lisa's art. But yeah, I thought it was neat to me when I saw the cover and I saw the creative team, and then I saw the little Dark Horse logo. I was like, this must be a thing now. I don't know, but again, obviously, when you're at Image, you're doing everything kind of on your own. And I guess Dark Horse takes over some of that burden for whatever their deal is. And these two, if they're out in Italy, working there and having their stories published here in America, I don't know what the logistics are for that. I mean, I'm sure the files could be digital, but as far as everything else goes, if you're shipping to have books sent to you, it's got to be probably a pain in the ass. So it's another Image creator or creators over at Dark Horse now, but it was a neat first issue. So yeah, I was glad to see I finally got to finish their other story that they had started years ago, and the same week I get to read something new that they're starting. So yeah, and apparently I was just because they had a book in a series back in 2019 called Midnight Radio, which Oni is putting out a new edition next month, so I'll probably finally get to read that too. So I mean, this is a creative team that I enjoy, so I'll follow them for sure. Depending on the story they're telling, I'll at least check it out. But yeah, this was neat. I thought it was a solid first issue.
Well, there you go.
That was good. I was just thinking that I can't, and this is kind of sad, I can't remember the last Dark Horse book I purchased.
Should have purchased Barfly.
You should have.
Been a while. Been a while.
All right, everybody. Hey, thank you for being here with us one more time. We hope you come back next time. But in the meantime, it's a lot of time. Solicit our sponsor. That's cheapgraphicnovels.com. Cheapgraphicnovels.com have everything you want at the price, get down, that you want to pay. OGNs, omnibus editions, manga, trade paperbacks, all that stuff. Massively discounted. Free shipping on your second order if you follow my instructions at the beginning of this episode. Remember those specials that DAP talked to you about. Just you're saving on top of savings on top of savings. It's crazy. Reminder, please leave us a review or a rating wherever you listen to this. That's very important because algorithms drive the world, unfortunately. And we don't want to fall by the wayside. So if you enjoyed it, tell people you enjoyed it. If you didn't, just shut up and move on. Yeah, oops. And once again, check out our Patreon page. Helps us out a lot. Patreon.com/11 o'clock comics. Look at it. There's stuff. You get stuff. We give stuff. This is a very, very weird book that I would like you to keep on the lookout in your travels. It was published by Fantagraphics. It's a hardcover. And it's close to 600 pages. It's written and drawn by Joe Daly. It's called Highbone Theater. Have you read this?
Yes.
It's a fucked up book. It's
All right,
yeah.
so are you going to talk about this in a future episode, or is you just in your traveling this?
No, I was going to end my traveling this in saying that the reality presented in the book is very fluid. Initially, we're introduced to the main character, whose name is Eric Palmer, as if he is the star of a movie called Highbone Theater. Okay? The book segs from black and white to color on a dime. You'll get lots of pages of black and white. And then all of a sudden, Eric will seemingly lapse into a daydream, or maybe enters another reality in which Eric has a very intense fascination with a sci-fi series called Space Journ.
Space Journ? Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek, but it's Space Journ.
It's like Journey, but
without the rest of it. Yeah, Space Journ.
Yes.
And he imagines himself to be the captain of this starship. And the crew is populated by analogs of people he knows in whatever reality that black and white world is. Eric works as a grunt at a paper mill. He lives with his parents, but not for long. He moves in with his buddy, and Eric's on a spiritual quest. He's very well read in the esoteric and the occult. He carries around a little mojo bag with him. And the color of his mojo bag is red. Red is very important in the determining what the color of the mojo bag determines what the mojo bag will eventually help you with. And the red is relationships and interaction with other people and stuff. Because Eric has recently acquired someone he thinks is his girlfriend, Rachel, but it doesn't end well. And at various points in the narrative, it switches from colored to black and white to color, and characters will call Eric Moses. Like, oh, it's Moses. Like, okay. And that he's frequently visited by this little man from the green, like an elf, and the elf has a Masonic apron on. And there's this thing to which he's striving called the Highbone Theater. I don't know why Daly didn't call the book. Well, I kind of know why he didn't call the book Highbone Theater instead of Highbone, because Highbone is a trigger word in Masonry. That when the secrets are imparted into you, it is said that the Highbone is the whisper that opens the door to connection with these high level Masonic secrets. And so if I had to tell you what this book was about, there's so many things going on in this thing, but it's all centered on Eric, who seems to be on a spiritual quest. He has a friend who plants seeds of conspiracy within his mind, and Eric just takes them as gospel, but then some of them actually turn out to be true in color. Like, Mario, were you trying to like make I understand it, like I guess the reality is supposed to be amorphous in this book, but I don't understand like what is real with quotes and what is not.
It's been a while since I've read this. Maybe it might be like close to 10 years. This is there's drug use in this, right?
Yeah, lots of drug
Like
use. Yeah.
they smoke weed, maybe eat mushrooms.
Yeah. Oh, there's a peyote. A peyote says.
Is the stuff in color? Is the stuff in color only drug fueled, or is it also dreams?
No, it could be. They seem
Stuff
to.
in color's not real, right? Is it?
I
Stuff in
don't.
color real?
I don't know. Like it
Yeah.
could. It could be.
I don't know if I figured out what the color signifies. Like,
But the thing that the sarcophagus that Billy makes, the look Iron Maiden looking thing with the metal breasts that he was gonna entomb the remains of his mother, like that's in black and white. But at the end of the book, the sarcophagus and the shark from early on in the book, it still has the freaking harpoon in it. Like all of the elements in black and white appear in the color section.
yeah, this is like a fever dream, right?
It's in the Sasquatch. Like what do the Sasquatch mean? It is. I love this book, but for the life of me, I cannot tell you why. Because
I can remember really. I have just a guttural feeling about it. I have like I can picture that art. I can picture that long beard.
I love the section where he goes into the occult shop and the black woman's behind the counter and he's like, yeah, I need stuff from my mojo bag. And she goes, what you talk about your mojo bag? And he's like, like you people use. And then I was like, oh no, like this is not going to end well. And she's like, no.
Like, about a mojo bag?
She's like, I'll help you out. And he's like, my mojo hand wants to be in and wants to get, and she's like, yeah, I'll help you out. You go do your thing. That's, I love it. I just love this book. And it seems to go on forever, but it goes by in like a heartbeat because it's so otherworldly. Like that's the best I could, you never get a real sense of what is the baseline for this. Like he plays, I forget what the name of the musical instrument is, but the strings don't seem to touch the frets. So I don't understand how this instrument would work. If you want a unique experience, go out and get Joe Daly's Highbone Theater from Fantagraphics.
Pulled it off the shelf. I just pulled it off the shelf. I found it.
It's fucked up.
There's a lot of 9/11 here too. There's a lot of 9/11.
Oh, there's a very, very strong undercurrent of 9/11.
9/11's a big part of this.
Yeah, it is. Because they watch it as it unfolds, and yet it becomes a thing in both. I don't want to say timelines, and I don't want to say universes. It becomes a thing in both of the narratives, like the color and the black and white. A lot of incidents are predicated on 9/11, and even seeing it, it's been so long since it happened. Even seeing it now, it's still like all those memories of watching it on that day. This just dredges them because the illustrations are so real, like they're unvarnished. Like it's the towers with the planes smacking into them. Like we've seen these images.
Yeah. It's weird that he focuses on this because he's not American, right? I feel like he's like Joe Daly.
I'm not sure, but if you look at the other works that he's done, that Dungeon Quest thing, like I love it.
I love Dungeon Quest.
It's so good, but it's very different from this. Like the twin towers turn into mushrooms. The planes hit. Both of them fall. The cloud of dust erupts, and then they turn into two giant mushrooms spewing spores over the city. Like it's crazy.
It's got to be a little drug fueled, right?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. But I wonder, like, and those panels where the lights just turn out. There are a number of instances in the book where you'll get a page with two of the same panels, one of which looks like somebody just turned out the lights. So whether it be someone sitting in a chair in light, and then someone turned the light off, and you can see like maybe a highlight on the arm of the chair, or maybe something in the background. There are a number of incidents like that where you have one state, and then someone seems to come in and just take all of the light away. And it's crazy. Like, what does he mean by that? I haven't thought on it enough to come to a conclusion on that, but it's just another layer of weirdness in this book. And there's a whole bunch of layers, like the freaking Masonic elf. He makes a point of focusing on the elf's apron. And the apron's Masonic. And then the whole Highbone Theater that he's trying to gain access to, like it's crazy. I don't know. Again, I think Mario was right. Maybe I shouldn't have brought this up as in your travels, because I really can't. Maybe I am right, because I don't think going into it any deeper would get anywhere. It's just very strange. I'm wondering if the author was going on a journey as well as the main character. Yeah, it seems that way. Highbone Theater, Joe Daly.
His art in this is more Crumb-esque than, let's say, than Dungeon Quest. There's a lot of I feel like I'm seeing Crumb in this.
Okay. I don't see so much Crumb, but I see a lot of peepees. There's a lot of ding dong in this book. And characters will walk around, especially Eric will walk around with his, and the body types are very strange. They're, what would you call it? Endomorphs, where they're massive. I don't know. Massively proportioned, but they have very small heads.
Right.
Yeah,
yes. and small legs to some degree.
Yeah, and just like big old ding dongs that they don't hesitate to just show. But I don't mind that. I mean, I like ding dongs, but I think the book is it's just very strange, and it's going to take a number.
The ladies all have nipples, like nipples showing through all their shirts.
Yeah, that's what the Crumb trigger is for you.
Yeah, that might be where I'm getting the Crumb from.
But like Sasquatch, Space Jorn, drugs, Mojo Bag,
Space Jorn,
Twin Towers. Okay. Highbone Theater.
Yeah, it's worth putting some time into.
I think so. I think this is one of those books you can read again and again. You're going to pull something out of it each time. Yeah, and it's not expensive for what it is. I think it's $34.99 for almost 600 pages, and it's a hardcover, but it's a small-ish format. Maybe it's like 7 by, I don't know, 5 by 8, 6 by 8. I don't know. It's smaller, but it's worth every penny. Like, it'll take you a good amount of time to read, and I think you're going to be going back to the well, because you're not going to pull all of the concepts out on the first read. That's mine. It's my Year Travels.
I guess it's something to use my Phantom Bucks for.
Yeah, it's
good.
I think it's really good, but I don't know that. I don't know.
This page is talking about that. Talking about a girl has a gap. He's like, where her thighs don't touch. She's like, they call that Bible gap. I don't know why they call it the Bible gap, because you can hold a Bible in there.
Because it's heaven. Yeah, yeah. I don't want to get into it. But he makes a tunnel from his bedroom to the bathroom, and he's going to kill his friend or cut his balls off for doing it's wacky, man. It's just strange. Yeah. And all of the information that Billy Boy tells him is fringe conspiracy whack job stuff, but some of it is real. It's weird. It's just weird.
It's weird.
But I liked immersing myself in this weirdness. I don't purport to have to say that I understand all of it or even any of it, because it's art, right? The interpretation and is going to vary from person to person, but it was fun and engaging, and I love the esoteric, so yeah, I'm going to totally eat this up. So yeah, Highbone Theater, get out of there. This cat is relentless. She's relentless, Dap. What else we got?
Nothing wrong with that. Sticking with the females, at least this time, as a character. written by Alex Segura, art by, oh man, I never get this Irishman's name right. I'm going to say Sean Tormey, and colors by Romulo Fajardo Jr. This is the first issue of The Question All Along the Watchtower. And it looks like it's going to be a whodunit. It's Renee Montoya. The Question is basically set up to be the sheriff of the new Watchtower that the Justice League has put out in orbit. And about a week ago, she was basically fired. She is she's been booted from Gotham City. She's no longer the commissioner, and actually, Mayor Nakano has put Vandal Savage in charge of all people.
Fuck that shit. I'm not reading.
I'm glad I haven't. Well, no, he doesn't appear in this. I haven't read a Batman issue, and I don't know how long, so I don't know when the hell this happened. I don't care. I don't. That has nothing to do with this. She is just she's no longer Gotham City police commissioner, and so she's back home, and she's basically kind of just like getting ready to clear out her apartment, and or she's going through some things, and Batman's hanging out in the corner, and she knows he's there, so he comes out and he's like, "This is urgent. The Justice League needs your help. I need your help." She's kind of scoffing at this because she's like, "Bro, you probably knew that I was getting fired like before I did, so it's pretty rich for you to come to me for help." But he's like, "I really need you to listen to me. But if you don't, then you should listen to him." And outside her window, Superman is there, and he takes her by the hand and he asks if we can talk outside, and they start flying, and she says she's basically half listening. She knows about everything that she knows she's got the gist, what Waller did and how things are right now, what they're trying to do with the Justice League and with the Watchtower, and but apparently there's something wrong, and they think that someone is trying to get inside the Watchtower, trying to weaponize it. And they keep saying this a couple of times throughout this issue, and part of me is just wondering if this is just a trial for Renee. If there really isn't something that these bigwigs and these superpowered beings, faulty powers, no powers or not, thanks to absolute power. So in any event, since she can see patterns, she recognizes cracks, and she knows I guess she has real good situational awareness. So they're gonna utilize her ability. So she does. She takes the gig, and there's some really cool panels and pages here. She kind of got rid of the fedora and wearing more like a wide brim Stetson. She's really giving it that country western attitude. She's walking through the promenade, or at least here it's called Precinct 3A, and you see like throughout the place there's a ray flying by, there's Stripesy, you see Lobo in the background, Dr. Fate and the Spectre, you've got some Challengers of the Unknown, some Justice League Dark, Jade from Justice Society is over here. So she's just wandering through, making sure everything's all good. But we see the flashback of her taking the job, and Wonder Woman is basically there to kind of break down her orientation, and lets her know that she'll be working with a team, working with the Beatles. You've got Ted Cord over here who will definitely get her whatever she needs, and you've got Jaime who will he monitors everything. So if there's anything she does need to know, if something goes awry, Jaime Reyes will be there to let her know. Aside from these two, we're introduced to Animal Man, because there's a whole menagerie on the Watchtower. and Buddy over here is hanging out with Ken Kawa, one of the challengers of the unknown. I have no idea who Ken is. I've never seen him before this issue. And the last member of the team is the field agent, who is none other than Batwoman, which, of course, now Renee was really looking forward to this job because she wanted to get away from everything Gotham, including Kate. But now she'll be sharing literal space with this woman. So she's going to have to adjust a bit. There's a Superman bad guy by the name of Conduit shows up and starts wreaking havoc around the station. He does get stopped, but there's no one in the suit. It's basically a automated robot. Nobody in the suit. It's completely remote controlled, which basically means that it's a distraction. And the distraction is because it looks as though she might be framed for murder or something. There's something going on here because when the last page, there's the death of a character that we saw earlier in the issue, and an animal from the menagerie that Buddy and Ken were going to look for seems to be leaving Renee's room, and the person standing in the doorway we only see from their below the knee down, and it looks like that could be Batwoman's boots. So I don't know if Batwoman is walking into the room and finding this dead body, or if she may have put something in motion that caused the death. And so I'm curious to see where the second issue goes. Renee's got this really cool shotgun rifle looking thing strapped to her back, and not only does it stun the perpetrator, it has another setting where it shunts them to the Phantom Zone until it can be sorted out later. And little tricks like that, I think, are neat. But the art's great. I'm still of the mindset where, to me, the Question is Vic Sage. I like Renee Montoya as a character a lot. I think her as the Question is great. I haven't made. I know it's been years, but I just haven't made the transition to. It's not that I haven't accepted her. It's just weird for me to see somebody that isn't Vic Sage as the Question. But I think this is a great idea for this character. I love the idea that we're kind of getting a handbook of the Watchtower without needing a whole special who's who encyclopedia type version of it. But yeah, I think you get some Ted Kord here. Tormy draws a pretty cool Superman. I like this first issue a lot. I don't. I think it's a miniseries. I think it's a 6-issue series. But yeah, as far as the mystery aspect of it, I dig it. I don't know why we're introducing characters that are basically seem to exist to kind of just kill off, but whatever. And apparently the Challengers of the Unknown are kind of they keep the station up and running and in tip top shape. I like the idea that there's that the heroes, the powered beings, the metas of the DC universe basically kind of just hang out here at this Watchtower and everybody's doing their part to kind of keep things running. And that was the whole point of it, was that the Justice League, even though there's a core group, that you have your core members, almost anybody can be in the Justice League, it seems. But yeah, I thought it was a cool first issue. In your travels, the Question, all along the Watchtower, #1.
You read that. I enjoyed it.
Cool. I'm glad.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for the Question.
Yeah.
Even if it's Renee.
Yep.
I like how we're getting kind of like a Renee. It's almost like there's a tinge of someone making a Watchmen commentary in it because because of Rorschach, like, and she is watching the
Yeah.
Watchmen.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
She's
Watching the people in the Watchtower. Yeah.
Yep, and it's the Watchtower, and she's hooked up with Blue Beetle. Feels kind of like Al, you know what I mean? Like all the
That's awesome.
analogs
Yeah.
are there. I'm a sucker for Animal Man. They threw that in. It got me.
Dig it.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I dug it.
Love it.
I dug it. In your travels, you're probably all reading this anyway. I know you two are, but pick up the newest issue of a comic written by Daniel Warren Johnson, with art by Jason Howard. I love Transformers. I mean, I just do. I don't know if I'm a almost 50-year-old man and I love the Transformers. Is it ever going to stop, Vince?
No, I don't think so. No.
Is it ever going to go away?
Nope.
I mean, okay. I was excited about this series when it came out. It kicked off with a bang. I was real excited about it. But I also thought, like, after 12 issues, 13 issues, whatever, right? Like, after that first year, it's going to feel less exciting, right? And I actually, with the newest issue, I actually think the story is getting better.
Wow.
I feel like the first 6 issues, kind of was that, like, getting the gang together kind of thing, right? Like, getting all the pieces in place. And now Daniel obviously has some space to flesh some stuff out. But, I don't know if you guys have read this issue, but it's another star, like, Starscream seems to be the center of things right now. He's lost his legs, and some of these people from Mars have fixed him to a Cobra Hiss tank. It's so good. Like, the bottom of his legs are a Cobra tank.
It's cute. It's cute.
Yeah. He's so mad. They got a little joystick to control him with. We get Astro Train. But the thing that got me the most in this issue, and the thing I'm most excited about, is that Starscream pulls a few people out of a piece of Cybertron that is on Earth, and we get our first look in this in the Skybound Transformers of the Combaticons, which are my favorite combiners. I love the Combaticons, and it looks like, from the preview of the cover for the next issue, that we're going to get some Bruticus action in the next
Love
issue.
Bruticus, yes.
Yeah, me too.
It's so weird. Yeah. One of the guys, Francisco, on our Slack, posted a link to the Big Bad Toy Store, and it's like a Godzilla Megatron.
Yeah, I saw it.
I'm like, wait a minute.
No, it's just
Grimlock.
It's
a Grimlock with a friggin' Megatron head.
It's a redone Grimlock.
Yeah, with Megatron's head. And I was like, no. Number one, it's Grimlock. It's not Godzilla. Just because it's a dinosaur doesn't mean it's Godzilla. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm almost 60 and I'm getting offended by a friggin' toy? Like, what is the problem here?
Yeah, it's just one of those crossovers that they're doing.
It's weird, though. Like, why do I care? You shouldn't care. But Transformers, right? Like, I don't think they ever will leave our system. Like, we're hooked.
Yeah.
Look at you with the frickin' what were you going to buy at Heroes? And you were like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It's the Metroplex.
Metroplex, not new, but the last Metroplex.
Yeah.
And you don't need it. We don't ever need it. But
nope.
We always consider it.
I almost bought it about 4 times. But
you were really close.
I out of it every time.
Yeah.
What issue numbers are these, Mario?
This was 14, I believe.
Yeah.
The newest one just came out a week or two ago.
I think last week. You're right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I really, I love it. I love Transformers.
Who doesn't?
Transformers loves you.
Yes.
Did you see Transformers 1?
Not yet.
I did. Yeah, I had to, Nico.
Oh, I loved
saw
it.
It
Nice,
was
yeah.
perfectly great, like fun Transformers movie.
Yeah,
That's
Renee,
what we
I got a real
need.
good kick out of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, David, just real quick, thoughts on
You did say real quick, right?
Yeah.
What did you ask?
Oh, well, it's going
about?
to be real quick because Mario sent this to me yesterday, and I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Oh,
Okay.
What did you ask him
So
about?
it is real quick. So yeah.
The Roddenberry, or some kind of in association with the Roddenberrys and Star Trek and everything, they created a new short film. It's called Unification, and then maybe some kind of star date, maybe. And it is a new short film with Kirk at the time period of Star Trek Generations, his death. And it is basically him.
Vince
I don't know, get into
loves
detail,
Kirk's
but
death.
him being able to be there
So
with
fucking
Spock when
stupid.
Spock dies.
Fire that rocket.
It's a Spock thing.
Yeah. So you're talking about Space
Yeah.
Jorn?
Yes. It kind of makes how bad the fact that that's his last appearance is, his death as Kirk in that moment. It kind of gives it a little bit extra.
Nice. So wait a minute,
Seven-
Dap. The
Yeah.
one where Kirk and Malcolm McDowell are fighting over the rocket, that's the one Kirk dies?
Yes.
That's where Kirk
Yes.
dies. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. I kind of blocked that out.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like one of the greatest actors of our time, Malcolm McDowell, who played
Yep.
Caligula, is in this friggin' shitty ass Star Trek movie where they press a
Clockwork
button.
Orange.
They press a button and it's like, oh, the rocket's almost at the sun. Like what? How fast is that fucking rocket? Because that's faster than your starships, dude. Like unbelievable. Whatever. I just thought it was dumb, but I didn't know that that's the one where Kirk died.
Yeah. He died because he's because when at the beginning when the Nexus rips the Enterprise B apart and Kirk disappears, leaving Chekhov and Scotty on the bridge. So Kirk is in the Nexus where he's making dinner or breakfast for the love of his life, and he's on his ranch and he's happy. And that's when Picard finds him, and then he and Picard try to stop Homeboy, and that's when and of course Kirk kind of sacrifices himself. But Mario told me about 765-874 Unification, which it's a play on words because Unification was also Spock's episodes from the Next Generation before we last see him in the Kelvinverse. But so this was this little 10-minute movie you can see on YouTube is Kirk and Spock's final moments from what I got from the article.
Nice.
But
Well, not nice, but
I need
cool.
to spend the time to sit down and watch it.
Right.
Yeah,
All right.
it's good. It's mostly silent.
Excellent.
Thank you, people, for being here with us one more time. We hope you come back next time. Do yourself a favor, get yourself to a comic shop and buy some comics. Love them, read them, talk about them, share it, spread the love of comics, because we need distractions right now. We need art. Art's going to get us through, among other things. And so, you know the drill. Say goodnight. Go! David, they really got it. I know.
Nice.
It's so stupid. It's so dumb.
Thanksgiving, guys.
David.
Yay.
Good Lord.
Awesome. Wait, where's the clappy thing? How come I can't find the clappy thing?
There you go.
That's close enough.
There it is. All right, we'll be here next week. We would like to thank good old Mario for helping us out. He always does.
Thanks, guys.
You're a good man.
Thanks, Mario.
You're a good man, Mario Brown.
I like coming and talking to you.
Okay, Dana. Tell him you love him so much.
So much.
So much.
That's it for that one.